Hi friends, it's your art teacher, Miss Barnett, and in this week's lesson called Sculptures That Tell Stories, we have been talking about how artists are very interested in how people interact with each other, and they often paint pictures and make artworks that show people, places, and events that share stories. So sculptures can also tell stories, and we're going to be making a piece of ceramic today. Ceramic is just a artist's way of saying we are making with clay. So I want you to think about a couple of things before we get started. I want you to think about what kind of story are you going to tell with your figure. Is your clay sculpture going to be standing or sitting or maybe laying down? Poses can be active or very calm and passive. So what kind of action or non-action is your person going to be taking in your sculpture? Will your figure be large or small? And what shapes will you use to show your figure? So before you begin, I want you to take a moment or two and sketch out some of your ideas using your imagination. We can also use the mannequins in the room. And I really want you to think about where the body moves. So our bodies move at the neck and the shoulder and the elbow and the wrist. We also have humans are movable at the waist and the knee and the hip and the ankle. So, maybe play for just a little bit. Don't spend too much time on this. Think about how you could change the mannequin to show an action that can tell a story for your sculpture. Then we'll sketch our mannequins, get our ideas ready, and once you've done that, we will start working with the clay. So I'm going to take a moment and do some sketching myself, and you can watch. Let's get started. All right, friends, now that I've completed my sketching, I'm going to pick the figure that I like the most. And I think I'm going to do this reclining figure, this laying down figure. You can pick whatever kind of person you want. My story is going to be about a person sleeping. So we could do this a couple of ways. We could take our clay, make balls and coils, and score and slip them together. Or I'm going to show you how to take just one big piece of clay and make it into a figure. So we're going to take our clay and make it into one shape. Then using this part of our hand, we're going to make the neck and smooth it out to make the head. Then we're going to bring this down into kind of a ball shape. Really want to elongate this out. Think about proportion here. We've talked about proportions of the body before. You can think about the body being made into 4 different sections: above the waist and below the waist. So now that I've made my clay like this, I'm going to make a slit. And this will be the legs. And then I'm going to come up here and make a slit, and come up here and make a slit. And then I'm going to form these very carefully. I want to into a body shape. Might have gone a little bit too thin right here. We want to think about the shapes of the thighs and the calves as we're working. And I'm just going to keep molding this until I get a shape like my sketch. Here we go. All right, friends, I've got my clay figure. I'm going to carefully pick him up. Remember, support your clay. I've got him in the position that I like. I am going to now really focus on adding details and making drawings onto this, scratching into this to make texture and add details. So I want you to think about a couple of things before we start working on this. I want you to think about, what is the expression on your figure's face going to be like? Will they have hair? Will your hair be drawn on, or will it be scored and slipped on to add texture? What kind of clothing will they wear? What kind of details and texture will you add to the clothing and the body so you can tell the difference between both? So I'm going to continue working on this and you can watch. Here we go. All right, friends, so I've made a little nose for my guy. So remember, anytime that we attach clay together, we have to score and slip. So we will use our fork to scratch and make the clay rough. And you need to do that on both pieces. Then we're going to add a little bit of this muddy slip and wiggle and press until it's attached. You can also use other tools I have in the room to add other details to the face. I'm going to keep working on this. I just wanted to remind you to score and slip your pieces or they will fall off. Here we go. All right, friends, so I've got a little problem here. My clay got too thin, so I'm going to show you how to fix this if this happens. So I'm just going to go ahead and unattach this, squish it back so it's thick enough. I might add a little bit more when we're going to score, because I'm adding another piece of clay. Score, score, and the slip all back together. We're going to pinch and press the clay together until it's thick enough. Smooth it all out. Remember, we're working on a sculpture here, so you need to think about all the sides of the artwork and how they're looking. All right, checking my work. Looks pretty good to me. I'm going to add a couple more details and we'll keep going. All right, friends, here is my completed Sculptures That Tell a Story project. My friend is laying down and listening to a story. I am going to put him back to dry, and then he will go on a little journey through the kiln and we will paint them when they are done. I can't wait to see what story you tell with your sculpture today. Let's get started.